Hello and welcome to Whiskey Sisters podcast. I am Inka.
And I am Jennifer Rose.
Together we will bring you a monthly whiskey podcast where we will be discovering drams, exploring distilleries, and talking to industry experts and catching up with our whiskey pals.
We will be sharing exciting whiskey adventures, sticking our noses into some whiskey news, keeping our drams on fire, of course, and cutting through any industry bullshit. So, buckle up and enjoy the ride.
You're listening to the Whiskey Sisters podcast with Inka Larissa and Jennifer Rose.
Hello, Easter bunnies, and welcome to our very special spring-like edition of Whiskey Sisters.
Hey, yeah, why is it always bunnies and chickens? Or
I
chicks?
don't know. Are bunnies born in around this time of year?
Yeah, maybe, but and like baby chicks.
It should be spring lambs because lambs are definitely born this time of year.
Yeah.
Anyway, Inka, everybody knows like the real meaning of Easter is chocolate. So let's focus on that.
Exactly. So today we'll be sampling some chocolatey whiskies. You know, why not drink your Easter eggs and all that? I have to just do a quick disclaimer here because last time I had major allergies. Now I don't have allergies, but I've just changed my aligners today. I'm on week 5, and when I change them, they always get a bit stiff at the beginning. So if I sound funny, it's because I have aligners on.
Is that teeth things? Is that like...
Yeah, so my bottom teeth, I'm trying to move the teeth a little bit. So anyone in Glasgow, if you're looking for a dentist, park practice in West End, ask for Josh and say Whiskey Sisters sent you.
Inka, I will miss your wee squinty bottom tooth. I quite like it. It's quite quirky.
Oh my God. I know. I had it because my friend punched me in the face in the schoolyard when I was 10.
Really?
And then it just went, and I refused to go to the dentist even if my parents tried. And now, after many, many, many years, I've got fed up with it. So I decided to fix it.
Talking of bunnies, I have a bunny like buck tooth, but I think I'll just keep it and not go for the turkey teeth.
No, you keep your... Yeah, that's different. Mine just keeps going further and further away. So then in the pictures, it looks like I literally don't have a tooth. Anyway, enough about teeth because we're going to lose them anyway with all these delicious whiskey chocolate things.
Combos, yes.
Yeah, so...
We're going to have tombstone teeth with all the sugar.
Yeah. Oh, just a quick one. Did you watch The White Lotus?
Oh my God, I was going to ask you about White Lotus. Oh,
yeah.
Yes, I did watch White Lotus.
Yeah, how cute is the girl with the teeth?
The girl with the teeth is the best, and she's so adorable. Her character's so adorable.
Yeah, I think she was my favorite character.
For
normally,
sure.
Normally in White Lotus, I don't like any of the characters. They all kind of obnoxious, but she was kind of sweet.
So sweet. Although I'm missing Jennifer Coolidge. I'm glad there was a nod and a reference to her character, but I really do miss her.
I know. Do you remember on one of the past episodes, maybe at the end of last season, I said to you that I wish that Pamela Anderson would come as the sister or auntie or something of hers.
I hope the producer, Mike, whatever his name is, of White Lotus, because apparently they're doing a season 4, tunes into Whiskey Sisters, hears this again, takes it on board, gets Pammy in, and that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I've read that some people didn't like the ending. It's not my favorite season, but I quite like the ending.
Yeah, I quite like the ending because one minute you thought everyone's going to die and all that kind of stuff. That woman, when she got the money and then she said to that guy, sorry, I can't do the spa with you.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what happened to her on season 1.
Yeah.
I think it was still quite entertaining, no?
Well, we're going to give you a tsunami of whiskey Easter fun now. Do you remember that character? Tsunami? Parker, no.
That's a good accent. She was such a weird character. Her name, like how she spoke, was so odd.
Yeah. Buddhism.
Can you say whiskey, stick your nose in it with the accent? Let's go to whiskey news.
Stick your nose in it. Stick your nose in it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, stick your nose in it.
Oh my God. We're losing it before we even started.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those episodes.
Stick your nose in it.
Okay, so Glasgow 1770 has released their 10-year-old single malt Scotch whisky just yesterday, priced at 69 cheeky pounds per bottle. It's a single cask bottling using the 10th cask the distillery ever laid down, and it's going to be available exclusively to members of the Glasgow distillery community, the distillery's free members club. I wonder if that's still possible to join it for people that are interested in it.
Yeah, although I got a feeling that it went live yesterday, so it's probably already sold out.
Ooh.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, if you're able to get a bottle, it is a refill bourbon barrel with the distillery's signature fruity, unpeated, double distilled spirit. Yum, scrum.
Yeah, so it probably is kind of like the original, probably. I'm sure it'll be delish. So, another news. Did you see all this rye drama?
No, I didn't, and I'm lazy. I'm just like, Inka will keep me up to date with the news.
Most of our listeners probably have seen this. In the EU, the distillers can no longer label rye whiskey as rye whiskey. And this was I know, it's so stupid, honestly. And it went, like, it kind of came to law to happen on the 1st of April. So I think many people thought that it was April's Fools, but it's not. So, according to a forgotten 20-year-old EU agreement with Canada, European whiskey producers are prohibited from labeling their rye whiskies as rye whiskey. Rye being a raw material used for whiskies in several different countries within the EU, especially like all the Nordics.
Yes.
But it should not be marked like that. It's totally bonkers because it's not like champagne or crappa, like it's not like feta cheese or parmesan, it's just the raw material. You can't just say, oh yeah, no, you can't say rye because
that's so weird. People will be crying their rise out over that, and that will have financial implications, I am sure.
Yeah. For sure. Well, yeah, so I kind of get that, like, what they were trying to do at the time. Back in the day, the agreement was signed in 2003, when there was literally pretty much no one was making rye whiskey in the EU countries. And they were just trying to protect Canadian rye. But the thing is, like, Canadian rye doesn't even have to have any rye in it. But like,
what?
Fine if you want to protect the term Canadian rye, but you shouldn't protect the term rye whiskey. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. So the European distilleries are now collaborating with the EU to seek changes to the agreement during its next renegotiation, which is next year, thankfully. But still, it can still cause quite a lot of havoc.
Yeah.
Even just for a year. That, like, rye is growing everywhere. Of course. And someone told me as well. Oh, Harry from Euro Whiskey said that he had spoken to a distillery a while back who actually stopped using rye because of this. So hopefully they will continue or at least start again. Like, it's silly. It's just terrible.
Yeah, that's bad. And talking of crying our rise out, there's more sad news here because Westward Whisky files for bankruptcy. Some of you may have heard this news. American single malt Westward Whisky has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy to restructure the business after facing significant challenges. The Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection was designed to allow small businesses to restructure for success in the future. Westward, based in Portland, Oregon, was founded in 2004 as one of only 30 craft distilleries in the US. And those of you that know the brand know that it's a pioneer in American single malt whiskey, which recently became a formal category. So the distillery is sadly facing issues such as a general decline and softening of demand for alcohol and spirits post-COVID, especially over the past 2 years, and higher costs and inflation due to the nasty global economy. Boo! Yes! That's a wee bit sad, isn't it?
It is. They've been really popular as well. I was not expecting that. But then at the same time, there's a lot of kind of shit happening in the whiskey or drinks industry anyway. Like, it's just tough times for everyone, really.
And I think the younger generations drink less than your and my generations did and do. Do you think?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But then I think some of them also, maybe it is that whole thing, quality over quantity. So maybe they still spend money, but more like, higher end. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's also noted the overproduction of whiskies, which led to a build-up of unsold inventory and overcapacity after investing heavily in production capacity, hiring and renting a large warehouse, only to have this capacity sit mostly idle. And the firm is now actively exploring its financial options.
But hopefully they can sort it out and we can still have their whiskies.
Yes, they can rise from the ashes.
Yes. And the Scottish distiller Eden Mill has officially started production at their new distillery on the University of St Andrews Eden campus. It's quite a big looking distillery, the new one. It includes a mash tun, 6 wash bags, a gin still, wash and spirit stills, hot liquor tanks, and cask warehouse with space to store 300 casks. And they have the capacity of 1 million liters of pure alcohol per year now. So also Eden Mill has just under 400 casks remaining of single malt distilled at its original distillery, which opened 2012. I don't really remember seeing much of Eden Mill whiskey, do you?
No, I'm thinking they had a distillery open in 2012. I just think of gin when I think of Eden Mill.
Yeah, same. But yeah, now they are focusing on restarting their whiskey production and fill hundreds more casks with their new make spirit. And then also, they are still working on the visitor center, which will be amazing, apparently. And it will be completed this summer with plans to open in August.
And that's quite a fancy pants location, St Andrews, isn't it? Like kind of posh and all associated with the golf, yeah?
Oh my God. And they will, yeah, exactly. They will get loads of tourists for the golf, or through the golf, I guess. And there's loads of students, loads of foreign students. Also, electricity at Eden Mill Distillery will be 100% renewable, coming from either the University of St Andrews solar farm or from renewable tariffs on the grid. So
nice.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like a lot of new distilleries are doing all the right moves.
I thought you said nudist there.
Yeah, all the nudists are doing the right moves on the beach of St Andrews.
Oh, be breezy. Oh, they'd be brave.
It's a nice beach there, actually.
Very nice.
Been walking around.
You can get nice fish and chips there too, yum.
Yeah, and there's a cute little whiskey bar as well, like a pub with lots of whiskeys, but I can't remember the name. Yeah, it's nice there.
Whiskey Sisters!
Okay, so do you have any plans for Easter?
Well, nothing hugely exciting for Easter weekend.
Nothing exciting.
But I will be jaunting to Lisbon before that, so that's pretty damn exciting. I'm going to also be planning to stay away from Easter eggs as much as I can because between you, me, and our listeners, are you familiar with the Cadbury's small eggs that are the size of like a cream egg, but they're Cadbury's caramel eggs and they're filled with caramel goo?
Ew.
Well, a few weekends ago, I ate 6 of them in one day.
Oh, ew. They just give me heartburn just looking at them.
Well, I think I raised my body temperature so much that my blood began to boil because it was so sugary. But I just couldn't stop myself. I was like an Easter bunny in charge of a lettuce and I just gobbled them all and they were so tasty. So
did you have a major sugar rush and
total rush
running around?
And total crash and fell ill. It was bad news. What about you? What are your exciting plans?
Not much, really.
Are you going to barbecue lambs?
I don't really like lamb.
No,
Also, like, just the idea, for years, I thought lamb was just sheep. And then I realized that it was baby
baby sheep.
I know, and I just can't. I don't like the taste anyway, but like, yeah, that was the last straw.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really. I think maybe like a nice lunch, long lunch, loads of different courses and loads of wine, and maybe like a nice walk. But other than that, I don't think so. We were thinking of maybe going away the week after Easter because it's always much cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
Just go to somewhere locally, but like Montepulciano or something.
Tell me this. When you were a little girl in Finland, do you guys do Easter egg hunts? Do you like get search for chocolate eggs in your garden and stuff?
No, but like the Sunday before Easter, we do this kind of, you dress up as a witch or
Of course you do.
yeah. Or like, I think nowadays you can also be like a bunny or something, but normally you're like a witch or like an old woman carrying a broom and old like coffee or teapot, and you go from door to door with these little things, I don't know what it is called actually. I had to go and kind of get these sticks that has these little buds from where the flower starts growing, and it just happens around the Easter time. And then you decorate them. So you go it's almost like a weird, like a Halloween, like a trick or treat, but like we do it for Easter. You do this like a thing. But you move the stick and you're like, do this poem, and then the people will either like give you sweets or they will give you money.
Nice.
And you're wishing them like good health and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was really good because we always got like a nice mix of loads of chocolates and stuff, and then also quite a lot of money. So that was nice. But yeah, I can post a little picture on our socials so you guys can see because it's quite embarrassing, but it's kind of funny because I look absolutely ridiculous, and I've been doing it for years.
I love it.
But yeah, so I don't do that anymore. But yeah, maybe we might go somewhere after Easter. Other than that, I'm not really, I don't know. Kind of like, I guess if it's school holidays and you got kids and it's kind of different.
Dram On Fire.
Today we have 2 whiskies. Oh, yeah, 2 whiskies from Glenmorangie. Did I say it right? I always get nervous. Both Sinette releases and also the 7th Scallywag Chocolate Edition, which was...
Wait, just now, is it not Glenmorangie rhymes with orangey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenmorangie.
Morangie.
Morangie? Depends how you say orange.
It does, Inka, it does.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with it. Whatever.
Go with it, yeah.
I think we always struggle. Yeah, and we also have a Scallywag Chocolate Edition blended malt from Dr. Slang, which is a Glasgow-based independent bottler, and now also the owner of Stratton Distillery, who just released a second batch, single malt. Yeah. So let's start with the Scallywag, I think.
Scallywag is such a cute name, and it has the little dog on the bottle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's sweet.
And are you familiar with being like called a scallywag if you're a bit naughty?
No.
So you can use that like, oh, you wee scallywag, yeah. If you're a bit like, if somebody's been like, if your dog or your kids have been up to mischief, you could call them a scallywag.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well,
so next time your husband annoys you, call him a scallywag.
Yeah, so Scallywag, the original one, is made using a blend of Speyside malts such as Mortlach, Macallan, and Glenrothes. And it has been matured in sherry butts. So notes of vanilla, dried fruits, dark chocolate, winter spices. So in this chocolate edition, they have done a lengthy secondary maturation in export casks to kind of elevate those chocolatey notes. This one is bottled at 48% ABV when the normal Scallywag, I think it was 46.
Yeah.
It's part of the remarkable regional malts range, which we actually featured like very early days, like maybe like episode 3 or something.
Yes, way back in the day.
Yeah, go and listen to that as well. So how do we find this then?
I think it's a lovely amber copper colour.
Yeah, it is nice. Kind of dark orangey.
The name is cute. The dog label is super cute.
Yeah.
On the nose, I was getting quite a lot of deliciousness, quite rich aromas. I don't know if you've ever had raspberry ruffle chocolate. It's like raspberry and coconut fondant inside, and it's a dark chocolate exterior. And I thought, I was really getting that in the nose. And then I was thinking brandy soaked cherries, as if somebody was about to bake, which kind of made me think of cake batter. So I was kind of then smelling cake batter because I was thinking about it. But I got something subtly floral, and I thought, is it maybe like a rose tea before you add the water?
Oh, yeah, it is a little bit, actually, now that you said it.
I think it's really juicy and delicious on the nose.
I think so. I think it probably needed a little bit time in the glass because I'm getting much more now than I did initially.
So what did you get?
I was getting chocolate-coated dark berries. And like dark chocolate coated. Some dried fruits there. And I was thinking Portuguese sunshine, because it was kind of like a dry, I don't know, I was thinking like a dry summery day with like a little Portuguese sunshiny smell. I don't know.
Oh.
And then I'm now getting a little bit of coconut as well.
See, that's the raspberry ruffles.
Okay. Yeah.
They're not my favorite chocolates, right? But I wish I had a bag of them right now because I would really like to pair them with this to see if it's a good fit.
Dark berries, I always mean like cherries or blackberry or things like that. Yes, that's a nice nose.
So nice.
How about the palate for you?
The palate has changed now that there's air in it. But at first I was really struck by the mouthfeel. I felt like, it's like completely filling my mouth. I was thinking this is a voluptuous mouthfeel and almost like a waxy coating on the tongue. And at first I thought, is it like a chocolate or coffee mousse? Then I thought maybe it's a bit more of a sharper, like dark chocolate, with the little chili flakes in it you get.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe some fresh ginger. I found it very warming, almost cardamom-like on the palate at first. I'm finding it gentler and smoother, and I would less discerning of those specific flavors now. And now I'm just like, delicious.
I was getting, I can definitely relate to what you just said. And there's that kind of quite heavy on the cinnamon, I was thinking. And some sort of, that ginger, but mixed with dark chocolate. Or actually, the chili was quite good. Shush. My teeth. Makes me think of my grandparents when I would stay with them, and I'd go and brush my teeth, and their teeth would be in the cup. It always freaked me out, and now it's totally. Me.
Inka's teeth are in the cup. I've got to see this on the video. At least the listeners can just imagine her all gorgeous with teeth.
The back in the day, actually, do you think because lots of older people have fake teeth. So did they literally just go and pull all your teeth out? Or do they have one or two left still? I don't get it.
Good question. One of my grandfathers, Papa Green, had all his own teeth, although they looked a little bit like tombstones or sugar puffs, but they were all his. And he used to say to me, because I was always at the dentist as a teenager, and he was like, Hen, you brush your teeth too much. You're loosening them. And he swore by, I said, how often do you brush your teeth, Paps? And he said, once a week.
Oh, no.
So, but I actually think their diet, war and post-war, didn't have all the crap in it, right? And maybe not so much sugar and stuff like that. But I don't know, that is a good question. Did people reach 60 back in the day and just whip out all their teeth?
I know, exactly. Or even before 60. I don't know. Too much chocolate and whiskey. Anyways, back to the whiskey. So, I was also getting mixed berry jam, some hazelnuts or some kind of nuttiness there.
Oh, yeah, good shout.
Definitely more dark chocolate, slightly bitter dark chocolate.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I think last time I tried this, I was also getting something like dates, but maybe it was more on the...
But it has got a little bit of that kind of depth and richness of those quite Christmassy drams, hasn't it?
Yeah,
those kind of full-bodied sherry bomb drams. It does have something of that kind of quality, which always makes me kind of think of juicy medjool dates.
Yeah, but if you think of port as well, like port is such a rich,
of
rich
course.
fortified wine, so I like it. And on the finish, I was getting juicy oak.
So nice. I was initially getting candle wax and now I'm just getting like blissfulness. I think I'm super impressed actually by Scallywag. I'd maybe buy a bottle of this.
Yeah, this was from last year, but they told me that they're not releasing a new one this year. I think they do them like every couple of years. They did one no, maybe that was the winter edition actually. They also do winter editions, which are really fun. I usually like those a lot as well. They did one with orange wine. It's quite cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's a really good one because I think it's very sippable whiskey on its own, and nice 48% ABV, which I like. But also for drinks like cocktails,
Yes.
Rob Roy or old fashioned, anything like it's just really good base for loads of cocktails as well.
Well, these couple of scallywags are fans of this dram.
Good start.
Yum 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 yum.
Okay, so before we try the next whiskies, let's talk about Glenmorangie for a minute, as we have never actually featured them in the podcast, although we've talked mostly in the past, fairly obsessively /stalkery about Dr. Bill Lumsden. But let's go way back to the beginning, because it was in 1843 when William Matheson bought a license to make whiskey on the site of a brewery located near the Turloughy Springs in Rossshire in the Highlands of Scotland. Matheson bought 2 second-hand gin stills to make the spirit, and the distillery is famous for having the tallest stills in Scotland.
Yeah, I wonder if they're still the tallest. Because I think they're about 8 meters.
And giraffe stills.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Holyrood was 7 meters, but like Pruladi has quite tall as well, but I got a feeling they might still be the tallest.
Forgive me if I've mentioned this in the podcast before and I'm being boring and on repeat, but I'm sure Helen at Lindors, who used to work at Glenmorangie, told us that there was super gorgeous accommodation to stay in up there, and the distillery itself looks really gorgeous. So I often think, why have I not been?
I know, I think so too. I think it looks really kind of cozy, like their visitor center and all that area looks nice. And also the stills looks interesting.
Definitely.
And I'm pretty sure I read from somewhere that their stills, the shape and the tallness was the same as the gin stills that the guy bought.
Okay. Well, Glenmorangie use a lot of ex-American oak. The casks are only used twice, and the second fill casks all kept in damp dunnage warehouses to increase oxidative-driven flavours. As the whiskey matures, it picks up more of the lush fruits, some honey, some mint, as well as notes of vanilla, creme brulee, and in the oldest expressions, chocolate. And they use different casks for the secondary maturation, for example, ex-fortified wine, port, sherry, and so on. Do you say that? Sauternes?
Yeah, well, obviously my French is not very good, but yeah.
Sauternes, Burgundy, Super Tuscan, etc. casks. Glenmorangie was one of the pioneers of this technique, and though it may not have been the very first company to experiment with the technique of wood finishing, because other sources claim that this accolade belongs to David Stewart and Bill Viney.
So obviously, I guess it's hard to exactly say who did it first, but maybe they were doing it at the same time.
But there's no doubt that Glenmorangie embraced the concept in the 1990s when super sexy Dr. Bill Lumsden came along. Release that serpent, Dr. Bill. We are actually in huge respect of his genius, and we've invited him along how many times, Inka?
Oh my God, so many times. And I actually emailed his assistant.
Yeah, we've practically camped outside his door and he's not been on yet. He's too busy with Beyonce.
It's just been tumbleweed. So
yeah,
either our messages are going to spam folder or he's literally avoiding us.
Yeah, or maybe he's nervous and he's saving us for like the pinnacle of his career, like pre-retirement or something. Who knows?
Bill or anyone from Glenmorangie, if you're listening, we are here for you. Just
We're
give us
still
a
here.
call. Yeah, give us a call and we'll have you on.
Whiskey Sisters!
Sinnet Single Malt has been a popular release for a while now. Once a year, the distillery uses chocolate malt to create the spirit for their Sinnet releases. So, if I recall correctly, it's aged in combination of bourbon, sherry, and virgin oak casks. And the bottling has some of the oldest stock from the distillery, ranging from 35 to 40 years old.
Ooh.
But it's still no age statement released.
And it's named after the ornate square design that was in most Glenmorangie bottles before they changed some of the labelling. The signet itself originated from the hilton of Cadball stone, a Pictish artefact that dates back to around the year 800 AD. History lovers.
Oh, do you say signet? I just said signet.
Oh, it maybe is signet. So
yeah, but I don't know. Like I just gone with whatever I like think, but I've never heard anyone say it out loud, so I don't actually know.
Ah, well, do you know what? We should probably do more fact checking and practice pronunciation before the podcast, but life's too short, right? So
Yeah.
we just go for it. So please feel free to correct us. We will not be in any way humiliated, and we will welcome the corrections.
Nice color, hey?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Bit darker, like dark
Mm.
orange amber, would we say?
Yeah. Yes, totally deep amber.
I just love the nose. There's so much.
What did you get in the nose? I'm keen to hear.
What didn't I get? Do we have time for this? Dark chocolate, tiramisu, coffee beans.
Oh.
Maraschino cherries, kind of what you mentioned earlier in the previous one. Amaretto, that Black Forest cake, but I guess it takes me back to the cherries. Then I was getting this rusinapulla pitko, which is a type of long raisin bun in Finland. So it's like a doughy.
Say it again. How'd you say it?
Rusinapulla pitko.
Rusinapulla pitko?
Almost. Rusina means raisin, pulla means like bun, and pitko is like a kind of just indicates that it's long. So it's kind of like a raisiny bun type of, doughy, like, yeah, with some, I don't know if it has like cardamom or something. Vanilla cigars, which you might like, the wee ones.
Oh, yes.
Whipped cream with vanilla.
Lie down, make yourself comfortable, take a nap, listeners, because the Inka got a lot in the nose.
Oh, one last thing. This last one, I don't know. Like, I don't have the word for it, but it makes me think of like one of those maybe middle scents or something that you have in certain perfumes that is slightly woody, but like aromatic. I don't know I can't remember the word for it.
Not sandalwood, but maybe far off sandalwood.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But like kind of like, yeah, it's slightly aromatic, but like woody and.
Love it, Inka. Do you know, although my tasting notes are nothing the same, each one of yours, I'm like, yeah, I get that because I'm nosing it now and I'm totally on board. I think this has opened very much with time, as we often say. But initially, I got a really strong Häagen-Dazs ice cream, the salted caramel one. Have you had that?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, and like that vanilla poddiness, nice, lovely sweetness. But I did actually get something kind of grassy and mildly floral, and also like maybe floral, like tiny white spring flowers. Just something, you're out a wee walk and you get a wee fresh nose. So something spring-like.
Oh, yeah, like honeysuckle or jasmine is going at the moment. Yeah.
Very much. But then I did get like a kind of stronger candied orange peel, and then the kind of chocolate maltiness, maybe of like a bourbon biscuit. But you can tell like I'm Scottish and Inka like is Finnish and lives in Italy from our differing nosing notes there.
I think that your grassiness and stuff probably goes back to my woody scent. That it's not like overly woody, but it's something earthy or like outdoorsy. I
Yeah,
don't know.
there's something outdoorsy. I totally agree.
On the palate, I was getting loads of dark chocolate, some tinkling spice like cinnamon, cardamom, maybe coffee with oat milk. I sometimes have,
Oh.
like in the summer, I have iced coffee with just a little oat milk. Or like if I'm in Scotland, and sometimes the coffee is really bad, so I just have a little bit oat milk to make it taste better. But like that's what made me think. And then blackberry jam, orange peel, and chocolate croissant.
Oh,
Or pan au
so
chocolat or
nice.
something.
Pain au chocolat. Very, very nice. See, on initial tasting of this, I found it quite Welsh and zingy. I was getting like sour cherry sweets, Welsh lemon, and malty biscuits, but with lemon zest. And I found it very zingy on the mouthfeel. But that was when it was just out the bottle. And to be honest, that zing has gone now. It feels much like smoother, much more chocolatey, much more malty. But yeah, I found it like, I was like, oh, I was kind of surprised at how zappy it was on the flavors and, you know, that zingy feel in the mouth.
Definitely. I guess it can go back to the age in the bottle, so it probably needs a little bit more air to kind of open up.
But maybe some like delicious Maltesers in the finish, like really just, it's very, very amenable, pleasant, friendly, inviting dram, in my opinion.
On the finish, I was getting a cinnamon bun. I find it very cinnamony at the end.
Oh.
Bitter dark chocolate coated coffee beans, kind of like still similar that what was on there. And then there's this like red dime candy. It's like caramelly, crunchy, or like caramel chocolate topped, kind of like honeycomb, but I don't know if it's honeycomb. It's like
the thing you get in IKEA, the dime
cake. Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Swedish one, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
I
they
used to
probably
love
say
it.
like dime.
Yeah, we say dime. At least in Finland we say dime. I don't know. But yeah, that was kind of what I was getting. Oh, and also my stepson's girlfriend brought us some amazing chocolates from Guatemala, which I was also now getting. Like, I don't know, maybe that just means something for our Guatemalan listeners or
What's Guatemalan chocolate like? Is it like a pistachio?
Oh, it was so amazing. Honestly, I'm not, I'm not a massive sweet. So I think it wasn't like, none of it was too sweet. It was quite dark, but there was loads of different ones. One was with rosemary, which was mind-blowingly like, like what is this? And then you get this rosemary and yeah, it's interesting. One was very cinnamony. One was kind of had almost like, I don't know what it was, but it was almost like a little oak shavings. It was oak, but like it was kind of like something. It's obviously some sort of bark, like a root.
It sounds very artisan-y.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but it was just, and some of them had a little bit of nuts or something. But it was, I loved them all. Like I probably ate most of it.
I think that's a good way to charm and bribe potential new in-laws.
Yeah, she gave us different types of chocolates and coffee.
Yeah, nice, nice. Go in there with
and
the
voodoo dolls.
Okay, yeah.
Which I could definitely find some use for.
I better watch my step. I better not mix up the samples again.
Yeah. But yeah, I think nice dram, I think.
I think
about 200 pounds a bottle. It's very heavy bottle.
It's how much a bottle?
200 pounds.
Oh, bugger off. That's hellishly expensive.
Well, yeah, it is, and it isn't, because if they say there's a fair bit of 35 to 40-year-old whiskies in there, obviously we don't know how much or whatever. And now they only do it once a year. So I don't know, 200, yeah, but it's a really fancy bottle and stuff. Although I don't know how I feel about the bottle weight, because you know how even with wine now they're trying to lower because you don't need to have such it's just kind of gives you the feeling of that it's expensive and more, posh.
If I'm handing over 200 quid, I want some form of like Easter egg that comes free with that, and like a tote bag and a t-shirt.
Yeah, but I think if you have a tote bag and a t-shirt, don't it just take down a notch, like Easter egg, posh Easter egg. I can go with that.
No, I like that dram, but now that I know it's 200 bangers, like,
Not that much.
but like,
I
I'm
know.
super grateful for the sample, right?
I do like it. Maybe one thing I would say that I would have maybe hoped a little bit more texture, like some like slight creaminess in the mouthfeel or something, just to make it more luscious, chocolatey.
Mm-hmm.
I still like it though.
Yeah, I still like it, but I'm kind of shocked at the price.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So earlier last year. Can you even say that?
At some time in the past.
Oh no, sorry. So
Not today, not tomorrow.
sometime last year they released Signet Reserve, which is basically the same that we just tried, but with extra 12 months in PX sherry cask. The director of whiskey creation, Bill Lumsden, said, now, by aging Glenmorangie Signet further in PX sherry casks, we are taking that whiskey's hallmark style even deeper into deliciousness. With its notes of chocolate truffles, toffee, fudge, and tiramisu, Signet Reserve offers layers of luxurious decadence, which will be enjoyed by whiskey lovers old and new. Both of these are actually bottled at 46% ABV, forgot to say.
Mahogany for sure.
Yeah, definitely more color from the Petro Jimenez.
If the last dram was cotton, this is giving velvet. There's a lot of like rich lusciousness for me on the nose.
Yeah, I got a feeling you might like this more.
It is like reminiscent for me on the nose. Not like, oh, it's the same, but the same luxurious opulence and the kind of aromas I enjoy, like Parliament, Glendronach's Parliament, that kind of toffee sauce, sticky toffee pudding, dusty, like posh chocolate truffles, puddings with like baked with dates and richness and Christmas cake spices, nutmegs and gingers and opulence. Like I feel like if I'm drinking this whiskey, I'm likely to get gout at some point in my lifetime.
Yeah. Also makes me think a little bit of Clenalicky, like 15 or something.
Yes, some of these big heavy hitters for sure. What were your notes on the nose?
Mocha, spiced coffee cake, chocolate icing, was getting dried cranberries, like a loaf with sultanas, like a bread loaf with sultanas, or like that kind of slightly sweeter loaf.
Yeah.
Muscovado, some oakiness, and also leatheriness.
Very nice. So nice. I'm enjoying it even more now in the palate than I did earlier. I initially got kind of ginger cake, maybe lemon slice that had been caramelized. I don't know if you've ever done that, like in the pan, if you're doing it as part of a recipe. I was getting that. Maybe maltiness of chocolate Maltesers, something that I can't read in my writing. What does that say? That zinginess I'd found on the palate of the previous dram I found again, but maybe less so. But similarly to how it had aged but with air in the glass, I feel it's like thick layers of richness. Again, a lot of the nosing notes transferring through to the palate and just like sumptuous. What about you?
I was getting black currants, blackberries, some fudge, orange oil, chocolate coated raisins, tingling wintry spices again, but not quite exactly the same way as before, but something is there, like on the back. Some gentle black pepper even.
Very much with the black pepper. And the fudge is such a good shout. And I know like Dr. Bill was saying about the fudge. And it actually reminds me of this fudge shop I went to in Westminster years ago down in London. Is it Westminster? And where was it? It feels important to know exactly where it was. Anyway, I think it was in Westminster. And there was this fabulous young woman in this tiny wee fudge shop that was like ceiling to floor fudge, all these different like flavours. And she was like, come on in, you know you want my lovely fudge. Come on, my lovelies, you want my fudge. And I was like in a fudge trance. And I spent like a pure fortune. And there was all these gorgeous, soft, rich, very decadent fudgy flavours. So that's so spot on.
Wow, that sounds like a place to go just for the chat.
Yes.
The fudge chat.
The fudge chat.
Yeah, on the finish I was getting dark chocolate with more like it feels stronger on the finish. Juicy sultanas, some plum, and even like cigar. I don't know, like just the smell of the cigar, but as a taste.
I feel we're in an old building, maybe in Westminster. We've wandered through the cobbled streets. We're in an opulent building. There's leather-covered chairs. People are smoking cigars. There's lots of opulence and figgy pudding and richness and full bellies.
Figgy pudding is good. Good shout. I do feel, I'm sure you like this one more by the sound of it.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one is more fruitier, berry-like, and not as chocolatey tiramisu style than the previous one.
Ah, interesting.
Which I think I prefer.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. I liked the second dram, but the third dram definitely kind of rings my fudgy bells much more.
How much do you think that is?
Oh no, I'm kind of frightened now.
It's about 135. Oh, sorry, 350. 350 pounds.
Oh, £350. That is a pricey dram, but a very nice dram, but like I'm not like saving up for that.
Yeah. But like I think the price difference between those two is too much.
Yeah.
You know, if I wanted to treat someone something different and I know they like that kind of notes, I would maybe consider like the Cinette, the original.
If I wanted to treat someone, I'd take them the Scallywag and would go out for like dinner as well.
Yeah. A couple of steaks, buy Easter eggs.
You're not getting Glenmorangie for your birthday, Inka. Like, let's just get this clear right now.
No, let's see. Oh, the Scallywag.
Yeah, how much is that?
I would say 55.
Correct.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
But yeah, no, exactly. I think it was still very chocolatey, Scally. It's a blended malt, obviously. It's a bit cheaper.
I wonder what our whiskey pals, our whiskey listeners are, you know, sipping and munching on this season. It would be nice for you to message us and let us know your thoughts. And if you've tried any of these whiskies, we would love to know if your tasting notes were similar to ours or not.
If we are looking for the most chocolatey dram today for Easter, it's definitely the classic Cinette by Glenmorangie.
Very good. 3 tasty drams. I enjoyed all of them, Inka.
Yes, good. I thought you might, because chocolate.
Yeah. Let's not kid ourselves on. It's anything but a sweet tooth over here.
Whiskey, we love you.
Hey, listeners, that's your whack for today. But never fear, next month we will be here with a bad bitch battle of the 15-year-old. Woohoo!
Incredible selection of flavors. You remember our 10-year-old battle this time. Jen is choosing the tunes.
Dun, dun, dun. Transport yourself to the 80s because we all know they're going to be 80s tunes.
Yeah. So you'll have to tune in to find out what is happening. Meanwhile, follow us on Instagram at whiskysisters.podcast, X at Whisky Sisters, and Facebook at Whisky Sisters Podcast.
Have a great Easter, honey bunny. See you next time. May your glass be full
and your dram on fire.
You've been listening to the Whisky Sisters Podcast.